All right. Thank you for having me. I'm sure you all are getting hungry. I know I am. Let's kick this off.
Our world is changing at a breakneck pace. Maintaining safety and security has become extremely challenging. Advances in technology have changed everything. Our oceans seem smaller, our airspace more complex, and it's become easier to cause disruption and inflict harm. Threats to America are growing at an alarming rate. Much of today's technology is purpose-built, inflexible, expensive, and always too late. But what if there could be a better way? What if we think differently and build technology with the future in mind, making it scalable and accessible? What if development could happen at an unprecedented rate, be delivered on time, and be affordable? What if software-definable hardware could ease integration with existing solutions? What if technology could be networked to deliver unmatched airspace awareness as a subscription? What if the most advanced passive sensing technology the world had ever seen could be available today? What if all the right people could come together into one company to build this? Indeed, this might be something special.
Pretty awesome, right? I'm Jeff Cole. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Hidden Level, and I have to say I'm pretty proud that we do have something special. We're a dual-use company at the forefront of passive sensing technology. We've got active contracts in the commercial, federal, and national security space. I've been very fortunate. Our leadership team, we've worked together for almost 2 decades, delivering this type of technology to our U.S. government and enterprise partners for years. All the technology I'm going to talk about today, it exists, it's real, it's TRL 9 and fully export compliant. The beauty of what we've built here is we're actually a full stack development company. So not only do we build some incredible hardware, but it's all completely software definable. We have a family of multifunction, passive radar, electronic warfare, and direction finding technology. This technology was designed specifically with the military, national security, and commercial use cases in mind. Our sensors are considered commercial off the shelf, and they were designed to be networked together from day one. We sense, make sense of the operating environments, and we assist our users to make better decisions. So I'm going to walk you through 4 different use cases of how our technology is used today, and we're going to run through some pretty cool demonstrations as well. First and foremost, we've been fortunate to provide airspace security now for multiple ports, airports, military bases throughout the United States since 2021. Our main focus is the classification, detection, and tracking of manned and unmanned aerial vehicles. Our sensor network is completely Privacy Title 18 compliant and requires no legal or policy change to deploy. We actually deployed all of this infrastructure ourselves initially. During the recent drone sightings throughout New England, and thank you 60 Minutes for an incredible piece last night around this, per U.S. government request, we were asked to deploy throughout that region in under 24 hours in partnership with Palantir. We deployed and were operational in feeding data directly both into the defense networks, but also providing a complete picture that was available to our commercial end users. So this was the first time where we had data going directly to government, but then also local EMS, New York State troopers, and other security forces in the area. The next example I'm going to show, for OPSEC reasons, has been modified a little bit, but it's a Stewart Air Force base, so I'm going to run through some of that. So what you see here is this is an actual event that happened, slightly modified. End user took off from a neighborhood, flew over the restricted base, and what was super unique about this was the commander at the base was able to get the alert immediately on his phone, reached out to local PD who was already inbound to the end user's home. This whole event between detection and being at the person's home happened in under 7 minutes. This was pretty incredible because it was showing basically multi-agency collaboration both at the state and local and federal use. This particular situation I can talk about publicly. FAA is using the data and following through on full prosecution of this individual. These are some other stills. These are snapshots in time of events that we have around the country where we have other different infrastructure that's permanently set up. This is New York, California, Virginia, and Pennsylvania. It's a pretty common thread. You see drones in more places that they shouldn't be. I want to talk here about our ground forces. Today we're providing passive detection, classification, tracking of non-RF emitting dark drones and emitting drones and full aerial threats in a completely RF silent kinetic kill chain. In 2023, we were fortunate to receive an APFIT award accelerating our program with the U.S. Army. This was now transitioned to a full program of record in 2024, 2 years ahead of schedule. This capability is actively being used and deployed right now in the CENTCOM region and will be deploying to the other combatant commanders in 2025. The Army made this, as I mentioned previously, a program of record under urgent capabilities, just due to the nature of how important it was. Here's an example of a use case of how operationally it works. So without giving up any RF signature, this is running off of basically piggybacking as a passive radar and running an EW mission at the same time, detecting the threats, cueing the kinetic strike, and then the helicopters going back over and evaluating to make sure that the threat was dealt with, both the drones and the operators. Here's actual test data from a recent event where we were cueing full kinetic kill on Group 1 to Group 3 drones. These were all dark drones, non-RF emitting. So really exciting to see not only like how this is playing out in the real world, but having the impact it is for our soldiers in theater. Next, we're going to talk about our maritime vessels and applications. Today, we're afloat in the Pacific Ocean on unmanned surface vehicles, providing counter-drone, electronic warfare, and passive targeting capabilities. The form factor that we're going to show you here and the size is unlike anything that the world has seen previously. How this is meant to function is both independently but also networked together. The example that we're showing here, you see a mesh network of distributed passive sensors on multiple USVs, US Navy surface fleet, and land stations. Integrating the network together, the passive sensors, along with traditional sensor networks, enables a single pane of glass for operators to see across land bases, aircraft, ships at sea. In January of 2025, along with our partners, we launched the first USV. This boat has been at sea now since July of 24, running the EW and counter-UAS mission 24 hours a day without any issues. We launched this at AFCEA West, which was great. We got to show live demonstrations, I think 3 times out there for the customers, and they really enjoyed it. Later this year, we'll be afloat with additional partners as well, supporting US Navy and Naval Special Warfare Unit. Golden Dome. You hear this a lot right now. The geopolitical environment has completely changed. As noted in the video, our oceans have gotten a lot smaller. Everything we're much more susceptible to attack in U.S. soil, and this was a driving force for me creating this company with all these folks I've worked with for so long. What Hidden Level does here is we're providing real-time airspace awareness by combining our passive radar, our direction finding technology, multilateration, ADS-B, remote ID, along with existing active radar systems that are deployed. This solution integrates a complete existing air picture. So this feeds into existing systems. As we mentioned previously, this is hooked into government networks, into commercial networks, and this requires no legislation to deploy. And we're actively deploying this as we speak right now. We believe our airspace monitoring service is going to be a crucial core to the Golden Dome efforts, and we are scaling it actively. This is a couple examples of different scenarios where this technology, what's very unique about it is rather than putting it on a huge mast right on the border, it actually co-locates with existing comms infrastructure. It's meant to blend in, fit in, not draw any attention, be completely passive. This is an example. We were quite fortunate. We've been deployed in the National Capital Region since 2021. We were asked to support, per JTFN National Capital Region in NORTHCOM, the inauguration efforts. This is an example of how we can show threat targets, own ship targets, identify it, and stream this both to government networks and also on the commercial networks for your first responders. These are stills from these are actual targets, as you see here, from some pretty interesting spaces that we've collected over the years of deployment here in DC, also in Arlington, Texas, over Dallas Cowboys. And I'm very excited to announce our recent partnership with Apple. We just presented this at the Pentagon last week. We're integrating this data into Vision Pro, giving you a full 3D operational experience. It's quite exciting. So in closing, imagine this dome infrastructure over the entire United States, covering all of our critical infrastructure, everything. There's nothing holding this back from going. So myself, and I have my team out in the audience, if you can raise your hands, we'd love to talk to you more, and I'll leave you with some actual data from DC right now. Thank you, everyone.